We had decided yesterday that Finny deals with his problem with Mr. Prudhomme in a very unique way, that he decides to tell truth to Mr. Prudhomme in explaining why he skipped dinner yet again, breaking a rule at Devon, similar to skipping class for you folks. So he's decided to tell him the truth. He's able to win Mr. Prudhomme over. Let's do some very quick review on this. What else was going on besides open honesty in that discussion? What did Jean say is the quality of that discussion? Okay, so he's very optimistic about this, and hence the smile on his face over here. What else? Very good. So even though we admitted that a lot of this is spontaneous, we said that it's also very honest and that he believes every single thing that he says. Even when he seems to be making something up, there's absolute confidence and belief in it. And what else? Tim, come on, what else is going on in this discussion between him and Mr. Prudhomme? Besides just honesty, confidence, optimism.
Friendliness.
There you go, right there. Friendliness. He wants to be friends with his teacher. Now, this is not some sort of self-serving. No, because you need to speak to Mr. Moffat about that. He's the one who net right there. Yep. You're welcome. I'm sorry? I allowed Carly a little bit of leeway in that because people have not followed through on what she needs, and she's been very nice about it. So she is now able to go a little bit into the not so nice territory to get what she needs. Otherwise, yeah, you would have seen me grow fangs and attack her and her family. All right. So, friendliness. This is not some sort of self-serving, I need something out of this guy so I will pretend to be friends. Gene qualifies that he honestly wants to be friends with him. He's not interested in escaping punishment. He's interested in being friends. Excellent. We have one such example. But what we need are other examples. So question 2 was talking about where we see this come out in Finny's behavior elsewhere. What are the examples? Where else? Where else do we see this? Melissa? Excellent. And Melissa's pulling out a detail saying that he creates it with such confidence and such honesty and such absolute unshakable resolve in this that people think it's been around forever. He's able to create that illusion through his positivity. Good. What else? Yes? Blitzball? Okay. Excellent. Now you folks have started to gather details which all run around the same basic idea, and that idea is the charisma, the power that he has to convince others to follow him. And that's excellent. But let's see some examples that are more similar to what happened with Mr. Prudhomme. Tim? Do you remember the name of the substitute headmaster that he was in conflict with at that point? No, it's okay. Mr. Hatchwithers. Because this is New England, and New England might as well be a different world from Ohio. You'll find that if you've not had a lot of experience with different subcultures in the United States, you'll find that they are actually pretty different. And if you've only really lived and experienced Ohio, you'll find that you've been relatively sheltered. And New England has a different feel, different value system, and then different traditions with names. So some names seem totally common to you because they're basically Midwestern Toledo area names, and to somebody coming from outside, they would think that that name sounds foreign, very strange. Some of the Lebanese and Middle Eastern influences in Toledo may seem totally normal to you. Radically different for me when I moved here, because I had never experienced a community that had that sort of influence before. So that's just sort of normal for New England. Patch Withers, the T, and the pink shirt. I want one more example of Finny's unregulated friendliness, his optimism, his need just to be friends, open with somebody else.
Well, just sort of the end when he was talking about the best friends and stuff.
The beach.
When we write our responses to Rob, can we use examples from any chapter?
Yes, you may use examples from anywhere. And part of the discussion that we have here, I think all of you can see, is developing supporting details that you might use in that. Obviously, we're looking at one primary supporting detail. However, you now have a selection of others, and you know to make an excellent extended writing support a claim well, you should have at least two specific and well-developed details, preferably from different parts of the story. If you have two details that all come within 2 pages of each other, it's not as strong as two details that come from different chapters or somewhere else. Last question. How does Finny's behavior differ from the average teenager? Who wants to give it a shot? April, thank you for volunteering. How is this young man, Finny, and this particular quality of his character different from what you understand of yourself and other people running around Southview High School?
Well, he's truthful.
Mm-hmm.
He gets caught with things. He's not lying.
So you're saying that the average teenager would either lie or be disposed to lie in a situation like that? I would agree with you. Now, April, let's explore that a little bit more. Why? I don't believe that teenagers are nasty. I don't believe that you are all moral reprobates who deserve to be in jail. I don't think that you are natural liars. I don't think that you are horrible people who only try to use others. Yet I do believe that teenagers have a propensity to lie. Why do teenagers lie?
Probably because they don't want to get in trouble.
So the lying is an example of fear. There's a fair amount of fear that rules a teenager's life. And April's absolutely correct that the honesty is distinctly different. Melissa?
Finny has like this weird sense of having friends with older, like his like the older people in his lives, and like most teenagers feel like they're like less than the people who are older than them.
Wonderful, Melissa. Let me see if this clarifies your thought and if this is where you're going. Teenagers see divisions everywhere. They see groups. They see difference. They see within your own age group, you see this group of people and this group of people, and you see the divisions among them, and then divisions between you and adults and teachers and different teachers even. Whereas Finny sees no divisions. Everybody's sort of on equal playing ground. Good. That's excellent. So we have this idea that the average teenager lives a lot of life in fear. And we also have this idea that the average teenager sees division and difference, whereas Finny does not. Finny only sees equality and balance.
Finny also, like, he said in the book that he wouldn't have found the punishment if it was in like this, like some weird way, like some.
Oh, see, Mitch is already being trained so well by me. He's looking in the book to find exactly the right word. What page? Page 22. Go ahead, Mitch. Excellent. In some novel and unknown way. So where are you going with that? What do you think is different? Regular teenager wants to avoid punishment at all costs, right? Whereas he looks at something else. Excellent. You know what I think of when I read that? I think of the first Harry Potter novel, and I think of when they received a detention and they had to go into the Forbidden Forest to track down the unicorn. I think that Finny would have looked at that like, yeah, I want detention every single night. That's the coolest thing ever. That's unique, it's different, it adds excitement to my life, let's go. So I think that's that's the kind of thing that he's looking for there. If it's a boring punishment, okay, you have to write out 1,000 times, I will not skip dinner. I think Finny would have been bored and disappointed with that. Madison.
I think that he has a good sense of self and that he does a lot of things because he knows how it'll make him feel. Like when he breaks the record, he doesn't have to do it for other people. He does it because he just wants to prove to himself that he can.
Madison's bringing in the A. Hopkins Parker swimming record to discuss this, and I think excellent, Madison. I think what you have is a development on the fear. So the average teenager is afraid of judgment, right? Afraid of people judging them because they feel relatively insecure in their own ego. They're not quite sure if they're valuable enough. They're not quite sure if they're pretty enough. They're not quite sure if they're smart enough. And teenagers' lives are somewhat filled with doubt, and they're afraid of being chastised for that. Whereas Finny seems to have no fear. Total confidence in himself and his abilities, and he doesn't need recognition. So that's an excellent point, and I think that's also the fear going on here. All right, good enough. I think we've killed that subject, and we have another one that is at least as important, if not more.